6 months ago, I started working on a brand new Faceless Instagram account. The goal was to try to use my viral framework to get at least 1 million views on a new account. But there is a catch. This Instagram page wasn't actually mine. The new Instagram I would be working on was actually for a client of mine. And to make things even more difficult, his business was in a niche that I knew very little about. So in this video, we're gonna put my Instagram growth methods to the test and see if we can get his brand new account at least 1 million views and make over $1,000 on a brand new Faceless Instagram theme page. Oh, and spoiler alert, the results are fucking crazy.
This dude Dip keeps breaking the algorithm.
Have the dev team update the algorithm. I don't want him beating us again.
$10 says he still beats it.
But before we jump into the viral framework, you need to understand how this started. About 6 months ago, one of my content MBA clients reached out to me and said he wanted some help growing a brand new Faceless Instagram account for his new business. Now, typically I hesitate to work with people when they're starting something from scratch, but he was the head of marketing for an exciting new meme coin that was about to drop. And in case you don't know what a meme coin is, that's okay, because to be honest, at the time, I didn't know much about them either. But I'll give you the quick rundown. Meme coins are basically a cryptocurrency coin backed by a popular meme. And maybe you've heard of some of the bigger ones, such as Dogecoin, which literally turned people into millionaires overnight. And as a more recent example, a few weeks ago, the state of New York euthanized this dude's pet squirrel. Then, of course, squirrel becomes a meme, and then that meme became a meme coin, and boom, now people like you and me are getting rich. For the account I was going to be helping with, my client was playing off the NPC meme, which is actually hilarious because I call people NPCs all the time. Now, even though I knew very little about crypto at the time, this seemed like a fun project and a good test for my viral skills. And since my client is one of the best and most reputable in the space, I knew he was going to deliver a cool project and that I could help make anything go viral with the right strategy. So we got to work. My client had 3 goals. Grow an audience organically, as a lot of you are probably trying to do as well. He wanted to build a long-term brand for this project so that it could turn into a major project, and to be the best in the space at marketing their project. That way, he could attract more investors into the project. And just as a side note, that's what the most successful meme coins have done. Like for example, Dogecoin blew up and even got attention from guys like Elon Musk. And this is where our new Faceless viral framework begins. We need to break out of Instagram jail. See, at the time, his account had less than 100 followers. Some of you might know that feeling all too well. I know I did when I first started. It's when you spend hours creating content and posting, but then you only end up with 7 likes. 2 of those likes usually end up coming from your mom and your crazy aunt. And I think my crazy aunt still watches my videos, so hey Aunt Linda. But in order to break out of this 200 views Instagram jail, we'd need a jumpstart. We'd need to come up with an idea for our content that was so creative, so entertaining, and so satisfying that viewers would basically have no choice but to watch, save, and most importantly share so we could trigger the algorithm. And remember that I said reshares because this is going to be important later in the video. Look, even the CEO of Instagram says this.
One of the most important signals we use in ranking is sends per reach. So out of all the people who saw your reel or your photo, how many of them sent it to a friend in a DM?
Speaking of important metrics, can you guys hit the like button below for me? Step 2 is research, and guys, I had to go deep on this one. Again, this is not my Instagram account and it's not my crypto project. That meant that I would need to find a whole new strategy for going viral in the niche that they were in. So I studied for 40 days and 40 nights straight. I was fucking wired. I lost friends, my pet rock died because I stopped feeding it, and even my girlfriend broke up with me. It's okay though, because now she probably wakes up like this.
Abe, wake up. Dip just uploaded.
Finally! I've been waiting for this all month.
So do I regret spending all that time for a second? Heck no, because wait till you see what we accomplished. Right in the midst of being sucked down an Instagram model's rabbit hole, I discovered it. This was the new secret idea that was going to break the internet. Moving on to step 3, figuring out our branding. See, lucky for me, NPC Solana already had a brand. The entire meme and the theme of their brand is about NPCs, and if you don't know what an NPC is, I'll explain it simply. This is an NPC, this is not. This is an NPC, this is not. Me, when I was working a 9-to-5, building someone else's dream, I was being an NPC. Me as Dip, traveling the world, making money from my laptop, is not being an NPC. Essentially, if someone calls you an NPC, they're basically calling you a boring human who's just following along life without locking in or taking any action to improve your life. And don't worry, if you're watching this video, then chances are you are not an NPC. This is their character and this is what their branding would look like. And I actually noticed that Dip and NPC are low-key matching, which is cold. So my job was to get creative and help them make this NPC meme concept go viral on Instagram. And what better way to do that besides showing all the NPCs on Instagram what their life will look like if they don't lock in. To do this, I came up with an IVP, or Ideal Viewer Profile. It's basically a long list of answers that define who the viewer is. What do they do for fun? What are they afraid of? What kind of memes do they like? All this info helps me as a creative advisor to make content that'll actually work. And if you want a copy of this, I can link it in the description below. Moving on, part 4 is storyboarding. Now that I know who my ideal viewer is, I storyboarded together a video that showed the typical life of an NPC. When you're storyboarding, you need to be thinking about a few main sections. First, your hook. This is where you capture your viewer's attention. Here's an example of a good one.
Go to sleep.
Next is your storyline. This is where you tell your story. Here's an example of a good one.
When you choose a partner, you're also choosing someone who you will share about 20,000 meals with, so hopefully they value nutrition. You're choosing someone that you're going to sleep next to for about 10,000 nights.
And actually, that example was for a client of mine, TJ Power, and I helped him script that video that ended up doing quite well. Finally, your payoff. This is where you satisfy your viewer. You want them walking away thinking, wow, I am so glad I watched that video. Now, there are about 10 more formats of viral frameworks that I advise my clients inside of Content MBA to use, but this was the one that we were going to use for this project. Once I developed my storyboard, I needed to move on to step 6, editing. Now, would you believe me if I told you that this 10-second video took about 4 days to edit because it was pretty complex? Again, spoiler alert, it'll all be worth it, I promise. The reason for this is because when I'm editing, I like to think about the colors, the sound effects, the pacing, the framing, the transitions, everything that comes together to take something from this. There is a lost art to making banger YouTube videos. What the fuck? To this.
Every action takes nothing is more intuition. Well, ideally, you should have started the creation. Is there a
There is a lost art to making banger YouTube videos. Step 7 is one of the final touches, but it's an important one: sound. To go viral on Instagram these days, you need a viral sound. That could be what your script says, the sound effects that you use, the music, or a combination of all three. And I'm actually going to be making a video on this with my editor in the future, so make sure you're subscribed below. For the audio on this reel, I had to find a viral song that matched the vibe of the edit that we were putting together. So I went into the Viral Vault library inside of Content MBA, which is where I list and track a lot of the viral audios on Instagram, and I found one that fit perfectly. And then it was time. So this is what the final video looked like. Oof, I could not live like that. You probably thought I was joking when you heard me say 4 days for 10 seconds, but as you can see, we had to draw a lot of these different slides. So now all that was left was step 8. Posting. But before we uploaded, we analyzed his audience demographics and we found the sweet spot for upload times where most of his audience was online. That way we could get as many eyeballs as possible. And finally, it was time. We pressed upload and then we waited. But after 24 hours, the video only had a couple thousand views. Was I losing my magic touch? Did I forget a step? Was my formula broken? Am I gonna lose my client?
Another new project? Does this dude ever sleep? What do we do?
How does he keep figuring out the algorithm? With all these saves and shares, we have to pump it.
But sir, again, this dude Dip and all his clients are dominating Instagram.
You insubordinate pest, I said pump it!
So in case you guys were wondering whether we got the 1 million views or not, well, I have some news for you. This video actually ended up getting over 6 million views. It currently has over 190,000 likes, and the account went from just a couple hundred followers to thousands in a couple of weeks. And remember at the beginning of this video how I said reshares were important? Well, this one got over 3,500 reshares. Oh, and by the way, this wasn't a fluke because we were able to get this reel to 100,000, this reel to 250,000, and this one to get to of 300,000 views. And look, this one even got 3 million views on their TikTok, all with a brand new account with just a few thousand followers, proving that if you know the formula for going viral like I teach in Content MBA, you can make almost any topic beat the algorithm. And in my next video, I'll show you another client of mine who grew from 0 to over 130,000 followers with multiple reels going mega viral.
But like, I wonder how much money he made from this account.
Oh, right. This is probably the most important part. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to make $1,000